Alright, today I'm back with another video, and today I have a lot of tech news to cover. So, do you think 5G smartphones are expensive? Well, I have good news for you because the Redmi Note 10 5G just been launched in China. And it's gonna have a Dimensity 700 CPU, which is a 5G CPU. And it cost $156 or 1,000 yen. How crazy is that? So after seeing this, do you think you're gonna go and buy one? So let me just tell you the specs real quick, okay? So it's gonna have a 1080p 90Hz LCD display. It's not AMOLED, so you wouldn't get those deeper blacks. So, but then again, the pricing isn't really that high, right? It's less than $200. It's $156, a little over $150. So, no, how much can you complain about that price point? It comes with 48 megapixel camera, for the main camera, and then there's 8 megapixel ultra wide and 2 megapixel depth. I mean, it's okay. 8 megapixel ultra wide is what you normally find in most budget smartphones. I wish that they up the megapixel of the ultra wide. The 8 megapixel is just too low in my opinion. And 2 megapixel depth sensor, well, that's completely useless. It might as well not be there. And the selfie is 8 megapixels, so yeah, okay. I mean, I wouldn't really go for this phone if I'm really a camera enthusiast. I would only go for this one if I really want a 5G smartphone. That's the only reason I would go for this one, right? Besides that, there's no point of getting this. Because you can probably find like better phones around this price point. On our next news, if you want to get the Pro version of the Redmi Note 10 5G, which is the Redmi Note 10 Pro 5G, well, I have good news for you and some bad, because the Redmi Note 10 Pro 5G, well, the 4G model has an AMOLED 120Hz screen, right? But this one has an LCD 120Hz screen. So you do lose on a display quality. However, you do gain a much faster CPU, which being the Dimensity MediaTek Dimensity 1100. So I would say, no, if you are wanting more performance, then you can go with this phone. On the other hand, you also gain better speakers. You get JBL dual stereo speakers. So that's very, very good. Like it's better than the stereo speaker you would find on the Redmi Note 10 Pro 4G model. The cameras are 64 megapixel camera on the main one, 8 megapixel ultra wide and 2 megapixel macro. Again, that 2 megapixel macro is like useless. 8 megapixel ultra wide is pretty good, but like I said, you know, in my Redmi Note 10 5G one, that it would have been better if you could get a higher megapixel ultra wide. As far as the 64 megapixel goes, well, if you compare it with the Redmi Note 10 Pro or Pro Max, which is the 4G model with the Snapdragon 730, you get a 108 megapixel camera. So you do lose out on the camera side as well. You know, the Redmi Note 10 Pro 4G would have better main camera, 108 megapixel. Redmi Note 10 Pro in Europe and Note 10 Pro Max in India, which is, so one more thing, right? These have been launched only in China, and if you look at the price point now, right? The price point is below $300. So I would say, you know, that's a pretty good bargain, because you get like a decently high-end CPU. It's actually almost like it's better than like the flagship CPU you got in last year, right? Which is the Snapdragon 865. I would say it's slightly better or on par with that. So in terms of performance, you get a really good performance with this. On to our next news. On our final tech news, the most smartphones that sold in the first 3 months worldwide in 2021, okay? And the first phone you have is the iPhone 12. Yeah, that's crazy, huh? And well, actually, it does make sense, right? Because the iPhone 12 was a pretty good. I was for like $800, right? It was a very good phone. Then you have the iPhone 12 Pro Max, $1,100 phone. Okay, that's the second best-selling phone. It seems like Apple is dominating the market. It seems to be. Third is iPhone 12 Pro. Is this smartphone or is this Apple phone, right? Because you know the first three phones are already iPhones. Then you have iPhone 11. That's the last year's iPhone, and it's sold more than the newer Android phones. That's just crazy, huh? And finally, you have. I wouldn't say finally in terms of like the last ones. I would say finally as in like, you know, the iPhone, like it's finally gone, right? But no iPhones here. Is the Redmi 9A, Xiaomi Redmi 9A. Finally not an Apple device after 4 iPhones in a row. Redmi 9, Xiaomi Redmi 9. These two are mainly budget phones. I wouldn't say they're, you know, that particularly that interesting phones. Then you got the Samsung Galaxy A12. Again, another budget phone, somewhere around $120, something like that. Not that interesting. Then you have the Xiaomi Redmi Note 9. So this is something like 25, no, not 25, 20, 22, 23,000, I would say something like that, maybe 20,000, you know. I would say it had a very decent specs, right, for the price, nothing too interesting. Samsung Galaxy A21s, yes. So this one is, what would you call this one? This one, well, so A series, right? A21. So something like somewhere around 18,000, 19, 20,000, something like that, you know. And it has decent specs. I still wouldn't. I don't know. I don't know. The Redmi Note 10 is a thing, right? And that thing is an AMOLED screen. And, you know. So those were the phones. Oh wait, no. A31. Samsung Galaxy A31. Yeah, that's the last phone, okay? So the A31. So you have the A32 out right now. I don't know. I'm not feeling it. You know, the A31 was, I guess, okay. You had an AMOLED screen, but still, you know, I mean, I think it was something like 20 to 23,000, something like that. For that price, I mean, I would say it's an okay-ish phone. I'm not particularly that interested. I'm mostly interested on the Xiaomi phones in like around 28, 30,000 price point and upwards. The Redmi phones, though those phones interest me the most. So besides that, you know, these phones around that 12,000, 15, 18,000, even around the 20,000 price point, right? They don't really interest me a whole lot. So I hope you like this video, and until next time, see ya!